championship weekend. Today's the day. Couple hours away. Starting off with Eagles, Commanders. We've got Chiefs, Bills, late game. These games are going to be tough today, guys. I don't think you see a blowout. Let's get some people in the chat. Wait to get going here. Give it a minute. I am excited as a mother trucker.
Against the Commanders, unbelievable numbers in the two games. 55 rushing attempts, 296 yards rushing, 5.4 yards per rush with 4 touchdowns just against the Commanders in 2 games this year. Then you just look at them in the fourth quarter. Fourth quarter's been unbelievable for Saquon Barkley, just like Jaden Daniels. They've been both really good in the fourth quarter. Rushing yards in the fourth quarter, 719. That's number 1 in the National Football League. Rush yards per attempt, 6.7 yards rushing yards per attempt in the fourth quarter. Number 1 in the National Football League and number 1 in rush touchdowns, 7. I haven't seen a closer like this since 2008.
Well, these games are going to be close
Brad
today.
Lidge closing out the World Series across the street at Citizens Bank Ballpark. I
Going to have some
like
close
that,
games today.
I was there. I remember that. We haven't seen a closer like that since Brad Lidge and Saquon Barkley. The reason why they can close like this is because this offensive line of the Eagles is
got some people coming into the chat now. What's up, guys?
688 yards. Rounding up, that
it is the day. Today's the day. See who people got and why. I got Chiefs Eagles. I hope I don't regret it. These games are going to both be close. I don't think either game's decided by more than a touchdown. I'll be really surprised. I think the Eagles, as long as Jalen Hurts can do enough, they should be okay. I think that Saquon Barkley is going to have a massive game. He ran all over Washington in the regular season. He had a huge game last weekend, and I think he's going to do it again. I really do. And if Hurts can just do what he has to do, he'll be fine. But I think you're going to see a heavy dose of Saquon Barkley. You could see him get 30 carries in this game. I wouldn't be surprised. Try and keep Jaden Daniels off the field. I think they should use him as much as possible without it being too obvious. But I also hope that Jalen Hurts is not playing where he's going to compromise the team. I think that's something you really got to watch out for. How beat up is he? Can he still make throws? Can he still get away from the rush? Can he run the ball a little bit? He's going to go. They say Jalen Hurts is going to play. They said it's not anything that should really limit him. We'll see. He could take a hit and end up out of this game quickly, which is scary. But I think the Eagles also, if they run the ball with Barkley, it will open up that passing game. I don't think Washington has the cornerbacks to match up with the Eagles receivers. I know the Eagles have been winning with the run, but I think if the Redskins end up being really worried, what up, Ace? I think if the Redskins end up struggling against the run, it's going to open up the pass, and it's just going to – it will have a trickle-down effect as the game goes on. The Eagles beat up on the Redskins. They won by like 12 in their first meeting. Second meeting, they lost Jalen Hurts didn't play much. He was taken out after like 4 plays. The Eagles blew a lead late in that game. But they didn't have Jalen. They took Saquon out. They took a lot of guys out of that game because they had already clinched. I wonder if they wish they never did, but I don't think the Commanders would have still would have gotten the playoffs either way. But you look at the other side of the ball, Jaden Daniels has been phenomenal. They got to force a couple interceptions or something. They got to get him to buckle. I think he's going to buckle today a little bit. I don't think he's going to have I think he's going to have a good performance, but I wouldn't be surprised you see Philly get to him a little bit, that crowd get to him a little bit. The Eagles did intercept a couple passes from him during the regular season. And I wonder about Washington's run game against Philly. If Washington can't run the ball and they get one-dimensional, it could be problems. I think Philly is a more complete. I think the home field should matter. Both teams that have home field have loud crowds, very loud crowds. I think it should help them. I know people say home field doesn't matter as much as it used to, but I'm old school. I think home field matters. And as long as Jalen Hurts makes it through this game without getting hurt worse than he already is, I think that they can find a way to knock Washington off. It might not be pretty. It might not be, it might be close, but I think they find a way. I think Saquon Barkley is going to be too much. And I think the Eagles' defense is underrated. I think they'll come up with some sacks when they need them. I think they will come up with a turnover or two. And I just think the Eagles' receivers will have a better game than the Redskins' receivers. The other game is going to be very close. It's pretty much the same thing. Who's going to shut who's quarterback down? The Bills look really good last week, and they still almost lost. They still almost went to overtime. Everyone's all souped off the Bills. The Ravens turned the ball over three times and then dropped a pass late in that game. And they still barely won. They barely held on to that lead. And I like the Bills. I just don't think they have enough to beat the Chiefs. I think the Bills have a history of choking. I know it's been a long time ago, kind of. People go, oh, that was years ago. Last year, they missed a kick late in that game against Kansas City to go to the Super Bowl. I think the Chiefs will always, I think the Bills will always have the willies until they finally win a big game, whether it's whether it's an AFC championship or a Super Bowl. They had Josh Allen hanging out with Jim Kelly this week. If I was the fucking coach, I would have kept him as far away from Jim Kelly as possible. Jim Kelly's the biggest choke artist in the history of the NFL. He did play some good teams in the Super Bowl, but I wonder if Buffalo will be able to keep Travis Kelce in check. Mahomes can run a little bit. Kansas City has two good running backs, Pacheco and Hunt. Don't be surprised if you see Kansas City try to run the ball a little bit. Second half last week, the Bills got run all over. I think it's something to look out for. The Bills had a horrible second half against the run. And if the Chiefs can run the ball successfully, it's going to open up that play action, and then it's going to get ugly quick. It's going to get ugly quick. The Chiefs have been a little bit beat up, but they seem healthy today. The Bills' defense has been beat up. We'll see how they are today. Everyone says they're going to play. I think this game might go into overtime. I think both these games could go into overtime. I think both these games are very close. Very close games. But Travis Kelce had a big game last week. If you shut Kelce down, Mahomes still has other weapons. Don't forget about DeAndre Hopkins. I know he's old, but he's a stud. He wants a ring. Kelce wants a ring. These guys are getting old. They want to fucking go out on top. And I think that counts for something. I'll be really surprised if the Chiefs don't get it done today. In all honesty. And I think the Chiefs have a good enough defense, a fast enough defense, where they can stop Allen from killing them. I think they got enough guys that are talented enough that can tackle him. Josh Allen is not elusive. Josh Allen runs you over. You just got to tackle him. I know it's not an easy task. I'm not saying it's easy. But I think the Chiefs have the players on the outside where they can have some cornerbacks and some safeties make some tackles if he tries to run. But I also worry about Allen forcing one. I got a feeling he's going to force something. Late in this game, he's going to force something. He did it last year. He's going to try and force something, and this is going to be someone on the Chiefs that makes a big play. I think. Or it's going to be a fumble, something. It's going to come down to turnovers that game, I think. I think it might. And one thing we know about Patrick Mahomes, he doesn't usually turn the ball over, right? I don't think he's thrown an interception in like 6 or 7 games. I don't think it happens today. A lot of people got Buffalo in this game. I also think the Chiefs will get a couple calls in key moments. The Bills got some penalties last week. A couple stupid ones that, if they do it today, could cost them 15 yards when they don't need it. I would not be surprised if the Commanders win. I would not be surprised if the Eagles win. I would not be surprised if the Bills win or the Chiefs. All these teams are pretty fucking even from what I've seen. I watched a lot of football this year. It's going to be who plays better, who wants it more, who doesn't turn the ball over. And I think Kansas City can run the ball. I think they can run the ball if they just give it a chance. I know it's not their forte, but I think it could help them. Because I think Buffalo is worried about them throwing. I think they could catch them with their pants down if they try and run the ball. Pacheco runs hard. Hunt runs hard. You might see a guy you might see those two guys have a big day today and be surprised about it. You might see DeAndre Hopkins have a big day. You might see Travis Kelce have a big day. You could also go the other way. Amari Cooper could have a big day. He's starting to get comfortable with the Bills system. They got Keon Coleman, rookie, looked good all year long. He could have a big day. The Bills got a couple tight ends that can play. See if those guys could do something. But I just think Kansas City at home, they're tough. Arrowhead Stadium is going to be a fucking zoo. Watch. Same thing in Philly. It's going to be a fucking zoo. A zoo. I've been to a lot of professional games. If you could bottle up the energy in that place and take it when you needed it, you'd be a fucking superhero. Both of these teams' home field advantages could be crucial. I know it's not supposed to snow. I know it's not supposed to be ultra cold, as far as I know. But I think both home teams get it done today. I got Chiefs Eagles going to the Super Bowl. I think Saquon Barkley might fucking set a record. I'm telling you. And he's beat up on Washington this year a little bit. I think Saquon Barkley's going to have a monster day. Monster day. The weather's not bad. It's nice out. Forget about it. I think Saquon Barkley has a big day in that game. I think Jaden Daniels finally feels a little bit of the pressure. I mean, and he kills Washington throughout his career. Saquon Barkley averages 137.5 yards from scrimmage in 11 games he's played against Washington in his career. He kills them. It's the second most by any player versus a single team in NFL history. I think Saquon Barkley goes off. I really do. I think Saquon Barkley does something really special today. And when Washington beat the Eagles earlier this year at the end of the season, the Eagles weren't really even playing in that game. Jalen Hurts didn't play. They took Barkley out early in the second half. I think Saquon Barkley is going to be the X factor. Saquon Barkley might win the Eagles the fucking championship, the Super Bowl, by himself. Not by himself, but off his performances. What he did last week was insane. He broke 2 runs for over 60 yards, one for 70 plus. He don't cough the ball up. He could do all kinds of shit. He could also come out of the backfield and catch some passes. That's the same thing with Kansas City. I would watch out for too. I think everyone knows these teams all have quarterbacks. I think the teams that run the ball the best are going to win. I really do. And the Bills have a very good running back too. They got a couple decent running backs, but their starting running back is very good. Cook can play. He's another one to watch out for. The Bills get running the ball. Mahomes can't get on the field. You know, and that's something I think you got to watch for in all these games. Is that all these quarterbacks you don't want on the field. So how do you keep them off the field? Long drives, sustained drives. Long drives. Well, I think these games are all going to be close. If there's one game that could be a game that gets out of control, I think it's the Philly game. Because you got Jalen Hurts that if Jalen Hurts goes down, Philly could be in trouble. I don't know if Kenny Pickett is supposed to play today, if that did happen. He's been out, busted up. But this is going to be a fantastic day of football later on. I'm going to be covering all the games if you guys want to hang out and watch. We'll start. I think I scheduled it around 3 o'clock, 2:50. I'll double check for you guys right now. Yeah, 250. I'll be signing on to watch the games. If you guys want to come hang out, I'd love to have you. I don't know. That's all I got right now. It's time to put up or shut up. I don't think there's any big surprises. What do you guys think? Who do you got? Let me know in the chat. We'll listen to some of the pregame show.
Hey guys, all right, it's time for that all-important NFL football forecast, and we are headed to Philadelphia. The Commanders are taking on the Eagles. Temperatures at kickoff, 41 degrees. It'll feel like the low 30s, and I got a tip from Coach Herm. He said, look, you're going to be cold as a player. Just make sure you're keeping the hands and the feet as warm as possible. If you're in the stands, keep those warm as possible too. Then we head out to see the Bills take on the Chiefs. Kickoff at 6:30, temperatures 31 degrees, light breeze, making it feel more like the 20s. That's a look at the forecast.
Be a little
Back to you,
chilly.
Mo.
Thank you, Samara. When Patrick Mahomes needs to make something happen, he looks to Travis Kelce. Now, the all-time leading receiver in postseason history continues to dominate in the playoffs. That is next.
Kelce could have a big game today, too. The more I look at it, Andrews had a decent game. He just made too many turnovers. But if they take Kelce away, watch out. DeAndre Hopkins could be an X factor or worthy. Let's see what they got going on outside of Kansas City. They're already rocking out.
Last night, the fans are ready. What makes this environment so fun in Kansas City?
Well, what makes this environment fun out here is I've been here about 3 or 4 times, and every time they know exactly who they're rooting for the night before.
Suck a
But what
dick
they've
up till
been
you
doing
hiccup.
this early,
What?
I don't think they're going to know who wins or loses because
Because why? What are you trying to say?
what are they trying to say? They are, as the young fellas would say, lit in all capacity.
Are you guys having fun? Are you guys
Who's
ready
that?
to see the Chiefs make history? Is that going to happen today? I'm supposed to talk to you about this matchup and how Buffalo can slow down Patrick Mahomes. I think these guys know the answer, and that's that Patrick can't be slowed down, no?
No. Well, they love the Chief Kingdom supports. They travel well. They stay at home well. They come over. They're having sleepovers. You see people stake out for items. These guys, Chief Kingdom, they stake out for championships, and that's what they want to see again this week.
All right, you guys are having so much fun in studio. We're hanging out with the Kingdom. We've got omelets on deck. We've got all types of things. Kansas City's showing us a good time. So we may be cold, but we're warm in the heart because Kansas City's embracing us.
Fun stuff.
Already rocking.
What's in those red cups? Someone want to tell me?
Mustard. They're getting fucking wrecked in Philly already. Watch out. I think both of these teams' home field advantage is going to come in today. Yeah, both of those places get loud. I think Jaden Daniels is going to poop his pants a couple times. I think he might throw a pick or two. That Philly defense is underrated. They're going to be flying around. They got Saquon. How do you stop Saquon Barkley? He just ran for fucking 200 yards. Had 2 runs over 60 yards. I don't think the Redskins are equipped to handle. I don't think anyone is. Really. The Eagles could win it all on Saquon Barkley alone if he goes off. They got a good offensive line. They've had a few issues, but I think it was more to do with the snow. My only worry for Philly is Jalen Hurts, and it's a big worry. Jalen Hurts cannot go down today. If Jalen Hurts goes down, it changes things. It changes things. What up, Maki? Hope all is well, buddy. We'll be going live at 2:50 for the games. James, salute. Here's my people. But I got Philly. I got fucking Kansas City. I think Kansas City's gonna surprise some people today. And like I said, it might not be the quarterbacks that win it. It could be the running backs. I've talked about running backs at nauseum at times. Newport Light. I think the teams that run the ball the best might win these games. Because everyone knows what the quarterbacks can do. You get these running backs rolling, you cause play action, you start running fucking option plays. And I got a fucking funny feeling one of the Chiefs veterans is going to go off. I think DeAndre Hopkins might have a big game. He might be an X factor people aren't looking for. Because in Buffalo, I don't think they can take Kelsey away. Mark Andrews had the opportunity to have a big game last week. He blew it. But he made some plays. Also, Buffalo last week had trouble against the run in the second half. Buffalo also gave up some big pass plays. Buffalo gave up like a 70-yard touchdown in the air to a quarterback that's not nearly as good as Mahomes. Well, Lamar's good, but he can't throw. He's not as good of a passer as Mahomes. He's good, but I think the Chiefs get it done, man, at Arrowhead. Things about the Chiefs and Eagles defense, too. They get timely sacks. Something to watch for. They might not blow you off the map when you look at the stats. But when they need a sack or they need a stop, they get them. And when I look at Washington and their run game, I forgot to talk about this when we were looking at the running backs. I don't know if Robinson in that offensive line of Washington is going to be tough enough to run the ball against the Philly defense. I think Philly's defense is going to come out hawking. No pun intended. But Washington, I mean, they ran the ball successfully in the red zone last week. But he only had like 50 yards rushing, I think, Robinson, 50 or 60 yards. And then if you look at Washington defensively, the Lions running backs still had good games. Gibbs still had 100 yards rushing. I think Saquon Barkley goes off. I know I sound like a broken record. I think Saquon Barkley has a monster game. I think he breaks a couple. I think he runs for 2 big touchdowns again. I do. And then you got to look at some other things too. Both teams have good tight ends in this game. That could be another X factor. Goddard had some big plays last week. Ertz had a couple touchdowns, I want to say. The tight end battle could come into play in this game. But I got Eagles. I got Chiefs. I feel pretty damn good about it right now. We got about 3 hours till kickoff of the Eagles Commanders. We're going to be watching them live. I hope you guys join me. Hang out, watch the games, have some fun, talk some shit. There's not much else to say. Really not much else to say. I told you guys what the things that I see. I think you got an Eagles-Chiefs Super Bowl. They're the 2 teams I picked at the beginning of the year to be in the mix. I had the Bills in there too. I don't think anyone had the Commanders. I would not be shocked if the Commanders won either. But I think today their luck runs out. I think that you're going to see Saquon Barkley do something special today. I just got a feeling. Call me crazy. I've been called crazy. I think Saquon Barkley has a fucking massive game. Like something stupid. Like something like last week. I think the Commanders are going to struggle trying to stop him. And the more he gets rolling, the more it's going to open up shit. The more that crowd's going to get into it. If Saquon breaks a big one early, watch out. Watch out. That game could get out of control. And another thing to watch out for in that game, if Jalen Hurts goes down, it could go the other way. I don't think Philly wins the game without Jalen Hurts. I'm a little worried. That's my one worry in that game is Jalen Hurts being healthy enough. I would say. And the other game is going to be a fucking shootout. I think. Probably 31-28 both games maybe. I could see both games somewhere around there, 31-28, 27-24, 28-24. But I don't think either game will be a blowout. I think we're going to see some good football today. I think you might have some surprise people that break out. Some sleepers, especially with Kansas City and the Bills. I think you're going to see a player on either of those teams that you don't expect have a big game. And it's probably going to end up being a wide receiver. I don't know if it's Amari Cooper. I don't know if it's Worthy. I don't know if it's Hopkins. I don't know if it's Juju Smith, Schuster, however you say it. What up, Crispy? Salute. Well, we'll be going live at 2:50 for these games. I hope you guys come hang out, shoot the shit, talk some shit, watch the games together, have some fun. But I got Chiefs and Eagles. Let's see what the chat thinks. Anyone from the chat want to say anything? Who you got and why? Anyone want to talk anything? Anyone want to say anything? What up, Harry? My biggest fear? I don't really have any anymore. I don't really have any biggest fear at this point in my life. I've been through it all. Just about. I don't know if I don't really have one. I don't operate that way. Really. What's your biggest fear? No, probably not. It's not really safe to move out of the country if you're American. Thank you, James. We'll see. You never know. I've been wrong before. It's really just an educated it's just an educated guess. You know, James? Commanders and Bills pull the upsets today. They may. Oh, Bills Mafia. We'll see. We'll see what happens, buddy. It's going to be a long football. We shall see. One thing I worry about is with the Bills, too. I talked about it a little bit earlier. The Bills always choke. The Bills always choke. They choked last year. They choked for a million years before. And that's why I don't go with the Bills in big games. The Bills always choke. Last year, field goal to tie the game. Miss it. Kansas City goes to the Super Bowl. Yeah, a lot of people are taking the Bills. I get it. I get it. But the Bills are on the road. Chiefs are going to get some calls. You watch. Yeah, well, he's got to, one thing I said is he's made turnovers in the past. He's playing against the defense that is better than they look like on paper. And I think that the fucking Chiefs are going to get it done. I do. I think DeAndre Hopkins or someone stupid is going to have a monster day for them. I don't think the Buffalo secondary can hang. I just got a feeling. I think Buffalo also got ran all over in that second half last week. People forget the Ravens played about as bad of a game as they played all year and barely lost. You almost lost to the Ravens, then they turned the ball over 3 times. And I think that Buffalo has problems stopping the run if it's done right. I think if the Chiefs give it a chance, they'll be able to run the ball. And the Chiefs got a much better defense than people think. But we'll see. We'll see. But I think Saquon Barkley goes off today. I have a funny feeling. I think Saquon Barkley does something crazy today. The Eagles find a way. I think Mahomes finds a way to get it done. Chiefs probably get a couple calls. And I think the Bills do something they're going to miss a field goal. Something stupid's going to happen to Buffalo. I got a feeling. Just because they're Buffalo. I'm sorry, guys. It's just how I feel. I got a funny feeling that something fucking goofy is going to happen to Buffalo. It's really the only reason I took the Chiefs. And Mahomes really doesn't make mistakes. I mean, I don't think he's thrown an interception in quite a few weeks. I just think the 2 home teams get the job done. I also took the Eagles and the Chiefs early in the year as my Super Bowl picks, so I got to ride with them. But we'll see what happens. It's almost game time. Please like, share, subscribe. We'll be going live at 2:50. Come hang out and watch the games, talk some shit, have some fun. I'll do some play-by-play if people want. If Buffalo is to win, they got to get a turnover. Buffalo's got to get a couple turnovers to win this game. Just like they did last week. And they got to get Cook going. I like Buffalo. I just picked the Chiefs. I really like Buffalo. I almost wish I took Buffalo. But something in me just says Buffalo's going to do what Buffalo does. They're like the Bruins of fucking the NHL, of the NFL. I got a funny feeling between the referees and it being an Arrowhead, something's fucked up's going to happen. I do. I'm just keeping it real, guys. In the other game, I think Saquon Barkley goes off. It's really all I got. I've said my piece. If you guys want to talk, I'll give it a few minutes. If not, I'm going to go get showered up. I'm going to go run a few errands. And we'll be back at it around 2:50 this afternoon, Eastern Standard Time. The grids got the refs? What's the grids? You mean the Chiefs? I get what you mean, locking down Kelsey, but you lock down Kelsey, you got to worry about the other guys then. I think that's what Houston tried to do last week, and it didn't work so well. Houston also got a couple shitty calls against them. One of the biggest reasons I took the Chiefs is because I know they're going to get a couple calls. I know they are. I know they are. Unless that everyone made such a big stink about it last week. If there's a dirty hit on Mahomes or something that's borderline, they're going to call it. It's going to happen. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. But in the other game, I think as long as Jalen Hurts doesn't go down and he can do what he did at least last week, they'll be fine. Saquon Barkley going to have a fucking huge day. I'm calling it now. I hope I don't jinx him, but I really feel like Saquon Barkley's going to have a monster game. Monster game. I don't think Washington has an answer for him. I don't. But that's all I got for now. Please like, share, subscribe. 2:50 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We'll be going live. Both games in the same stream. We got hours upon hours of pigskin. I've been waiting for this shit all week. Please join me. Come hang out. I'll catch you around 2:50 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Nate's Live Talk over and out. Chiefs and Eagles going to the Super Bowl.